Franklin was a quiet town. For that reason, everyone was surprised when Jimmy Johnson went missing. Detective Gregory Park had not had a case in a long time. Now he was sitting in front of Elmore Williams. Williams lived with his sick grandchild. Park had the feeling he was wasting his time. What could this old man know about Jimmy? The day Jimmy went missing, he was playing with other children outside his home. Nothing appeared to be wrong. Jimmy's mother checked on him from time to time. 20 minutes after the mother last saw Jimmy, she looked through the window again. The boy was gone. The kids that were playing with Jimmy talked to the police. They said that Jimmy walked away to look for something to eat. He carried his teddy bear under his arm. There were no clues to go on. So Park began to interview the neighbors. Mr. Williams, where were you on March 25th at 6 p.m.? Asked Park. At home. I don't go out often. As you may know, Charlie is ill. What is the matter with him, Mr. Williams? Doctors don't know yet. It started with a fever, but as the days went by, things got much worse. He is asleep almost all the time. He cannot even get up. Park felt sad for the old man. He searched the house, knowing that he would not find anything. He saw Charlie in the bedroom. The boy was fast asleep, like a clay figure. Inviting someone to a party. Hello, Paolo. Hello, Anna. What are you doing tonight? Nothing special. I will call my family in Brazil and wish them happy holidays. Oh, I am attending a family gathering at my parents' house. Would you like to come with me? Thank you very much. I would love to. Great! What should I bring to the party, Anna? Oh, you don't need to bring anything. You are my guest. I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock. Arriving at a party. Hello, Mom. Hello, Dad. This is Paulo Lima, my Brazilian friend. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Douglas. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me. I brought a bottle of wine. Hello, Paolo. Thank you. We have heard so much about you. Nice to meet you, Paolo. Please come in. We were waiting for you. Let me introduce you to the family. Thanks, Mrs. Douglas. Please call me Martha. This is Helen, Anna's grandmother. This is Joseph, Anna's uncle. This is Rose, my niece. And this is Ryan, her husband. And finally, these are Sarah and John, their children. It's so nice to meet you. Welcome to our home, Paolo. Please take a seat. Dinner will be ready in about 15 minutes. I hope you like turkey. Oh, yes, I love turkey. It was the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. Out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. To my wondering eyes did appear a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen. On Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. His eyes, how they twinkled! His dimples, how merry! His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. Soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. The Trojan War had ended. Odysseus was on his voyage home. He arrived at the island of Aeaea. Circe, a beautiful enchantress, inhabited this island. Circe lived in a palace amid a dense wood. She was known for transforming her enemies into animals. Circe transformed Odysseus's crew into swine. Hermes helped Odysseus to resist her magic. Odysseus lived with Circe for a year. Before parting, Circe warned Odysseus about the dangers he would face on his journey. First, you will come to the sirens, she said. They enchant all who come near them. Sirens were stunning and had beautiful voices. Nonetheless, they used their beauty to lure sailors and kill them. Pass these sirens by, said Circe. Stop your men's ears with wax. None of them may hear. But if you like, you can listen. Tell your men to tie you to the mast. If you beg the men to untie you, they must bind you faster. Odysseus was adventurous and curious. He wanted to listen to the sirens' seductive song. Odysseus did exactly as Circe had told him. He had all of his sailors plug their ears with beeswax. Then he ordered them to tie him to the mast. He asked his men to leave him tied tightly. Odysseus heard the siren's beautiful song. He ordered the sailors to untie him, but the sailors bound him tighter. Once they had passed the Siren Island, Odysseus was released. That is how Odysseus survived. Among all those mortals who grew so wise that they learned the secrets of the gods, none was more cunning than Daedalus. He once built a wonderful labyrinth of windy ways for King Minos of Crete. The labyrinth was so cunningly tangled up and twisted around that once inside you could never find your way out again without a magic clue. But the king's favour veered with the wind, and one day he had his master architect imprisoned in a tower. Daedalus managed to escape from his cell, but it seemed impossible to leave the island, since every ship that came or went was well guarded by order of the king. At length, watching the seagulls in the air, the only creatures that were sure of liberty, he thought of a plan for himself and his young son Icarus, who was captive with him. Little by little, he gathered a store of feathers great and small. He fastened these together with thread. He moulded them in with wax, and so fashioned 2 great wings like those of a bird. When they were done, Daedalus fitted them to his own shoulders. After 1 or 2 efforts, he found that by waving his arms, he could winnow the air and cleave it, as a swimmer does the sea. He held himself aloft and wavered this way and that with the wind. At last, like a great fledgling, he learned to fly. Without delay, he fell to work on a pair of wings for the boy Icarus. He taught the boy carefully how to use them, bidding him beware of rash adventures among the stars. "Remember," said the father, "never to fly very low or very high. The fogs about the earth would weigh you down, but the blaze of the sun will surely melt your feathers apart if you go too near." For Icarus, these cautions went in at one ear and out by the other. Who could remember to be careful when he was to fly for the first time? Are birds careful? Not they. And not an idea remained in the boy's head but the one joy of escape. The day came, and the fair wind that was to set them free. The father bird put on his wings. While the light urged them to be gone, he waited to see that all was well with Icarus, for the 2 could not fly hand in hand. Up they rose, the boy after his father. The hateful ground of Crete sank beneath them. The country folk, who caught a glimpse of them when they were high above the treetops, took it for a vision of the gods. Apollo, perhaps, with Cupid after him. At first there was a terror in the joy. The wide vacancy of the air dazed them. A glance downward made their brains reel. But when a great wind filled their wings, Icarus felt himself sustained, like a halcyon bird in the hollow of a wave, like a child uplifted by his mother. He forgot everything in the world but joy. He forgot Crete and the other islands that he'd passed over. He saw but vaguely that winged thing in the distance before him that was his father Daedalus. He longed for one draught of flight to quench the thirst of his captivity. He stretched out his arms to the sky and made towards the highest heavens. Alas for him! Warmer and warmer grew the air. Those arms that had seemed to uphold him relaxed. His wings wavered, drooped. He fluttered his young hands vainly. He was falling, and in that terror he remembered the heat of the sun had melted the wax from his wings. The feathers were falling one by one like snowflakes, and there was none to help. He fell like a leaf tossed down the wind, down, down, with one cry that overtook Daedalus far away. Daedalus returned and sought high and low for the poor boy. He saw nothing but the bird-like feathers afloat on the water. He knew that Icarus was drowned. The nearest island he named Icaria, in memory of the child. But he, in heavy grief, went to the temple of Apollo in Sicily. There hung up his wings as an offering. Never again did he attempt to fly.